Hello, as previously mentioned, debating is central to EDI's method for teaching English language learners and has been shown to be highly effective for achieving academic excellence. In this video clip, we will examine what debating is and also some fundamental skills for debating. So, what is a debate? A debate is a verbal argument between two opposing teams. Each team makes speeches and defends a particular view with arguments. An impartial third party acts as a mediator by adjudicating or judging the debate and determines a formal resolution or agreement at the end of the debate. Each team must support their argument with reasons and evidence and must identify flaws in the opposing team's argument. The team with the most compelling case wins the debate. Now, why should students debate? What benefits does it have for them? Well, debating helps English language learners develop important skills. It helps students improve in the following areas: in everyday tasks that require reading, writing, speaking, and listening, with both formal and informal verbal argumentation, and with persuasive, argumentative, and general essay writing. Now, there are some important terms that you should learn before you enter into a debate or attempt to understand some. The first is resolution. This is a determination or judgment that is arrived at by an impartial, that is, a fair third party who adjudicates or judges the debate. It can also be seen as a solution to a problem. The judge might agree with one of the opposing party's views, or they might form their own unique judgment. For example, in Canada, the use of an increased number of car accidents on the road while drivers were using cell phones was resolved by a general ban on the use of cell phones while drivers were driving. A resolution might be phrased as follows. Resolution: the use of cellular phones should be banned from use when driving. Affirmative team. This is another important term. This is the team that agrees with the resolution. In other words, this is the team with whom the judge agrees. Negative team. This is the team that disagrees with the resolution. In other words, this is the team with whom the judge disagrees. Rebuttal. This is an explanation from one team about why they disagree with the other team's argument. And finally, we have judge, and this is the person who determines which team's argument is more persuasive. Now, there are some skills that are fundamental to debating, and these are outlined on Simon Fraser University's website, How to Debate. The first is style, and this is the way that an argument is communicated. They say that a debater must present material competently, and I might add assertively. Otherwise, content and technique are undermined. The second element that they recognize, or skill, is speed. They say that it is important to speak at a pace which, quote, is fast enough to sound intelligent, end quote, but also, quote, slow enough to be easily understood, end quote. The third is tone. They say that it is important to vary your tone in order to pique your audience's interest, and that a speaker should not use one tone throughout the debate. Finally, they recognize volume is important during a debate. It is sometimes necessary to speak loudly, they recognize, but one should avoid shouting. You should use your speaking voice, they say, and keep it at a regular volume. On the other hand, it is also important to avoid speaking too quietly, as everyone needs to hear you. Some other skills that are fundamental to debating that they recognize are clarity. This is the capacity to speak, quote, clearly, end quote, and, quote, concisely, end quote, and to, quote, express complex issues, end quote, simply. One should strive to state their case simply. Oftentimes, people lack clarity when they lose their, quote, stream of thought, end quote. They also say it is important to use notes and to make eye contact. Notes are important, however, they need to be concise and orderly. And without notes, they say, one's speech is undermined. However, notes should not prevent one from interacting with the audience. This is indeed very much the case. Wherever possible, summarize and synthesize notes. Headings with, quote, brief notes, end quote, underneath are useful. When drafting a rebuttal, they say that it is important to use two pieces of paper. During your opponent's argument, you should write notes summarizing and critiquing their views. After this, the notes can be synthesized and transferred onto another piece of paper. and you will then use that piece of paper when you are refuting your opponent's view. It is also important, they say, to make consistent eye contact with the audience when presenting your argument. It is also important when you are making your rebuttal and when responding to the opposing team's objections to your argument, I think. However, they say that it is important to, quote, shift your gaze, end quote, from time to time as staring is not optimal. Now that you know what a debate is and some useful skills for being a good debater, we can move on to discuss the debating procedure, which will be included in the next film clip.